Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and I want to start a trilogy of reviews on, starting on with a classic, a vampire classic. It's one of my favorite vampire films, From Dusk Till Dawn, starring George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Juliette Lewis, Harvey Keitel, Cheech Marin, Fred Williamson, Tom Savini. Hell of a cast. Of course, it's written by Quentin Tarantino and directed by Robert Rodriguez. And this is a DVD that actually has a full-length documentary called Full Tilt Booty, which is a really good one, as well as a lot of features, including commentary with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. And actually, this started off with, you had Robert Kurtzman. He came up with the story idea way back when, and he wanted to do the film From Dusk Till Dawn. And in fact, on YouTube you can find a trailer where he actually made a trailer a few years before this film. It had the AC/DC Hell's Bells music, and it had Joe Pilato, Captain Rhodes from the original Day of the Dead, Captain Rhodes. I'm running this monkey farm, Frankenstein. I want to know what the fuck you're doing my time. You know, the great Captain Rhodes. It had Joe Pilato starring in it, and he does, cross thing, and kind of like when he's gearing up for war, kind of like what they do in the third act in this film, and it's only him fighting this vampire bat, and it looked interesting. It looked like a film I would want to see. It's a shame because I like Joe Pilato, and it's a shame he didn't get that chance, but later on, the guys at K&B, because that's Robert Kurtzman, it's the K&B effects, and they worked on this film as well, and they became friends with Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. And it's like, okay, Quentin Tarantino can write the screenplay for it. And the plot of the film is basically George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino are brothers, the Gecko brothers, and it goes from them kidnapping a woman, because, well, actually it starts out with you have the Sheriff McGraw character. What was that actor's name? Crap, I forgot what was his name. He's been in a lot of films. And in fact, he's actually in the sequel, From Dusk Till Dawn 3, as a different character, of course. But Michael Parks. It just popped in my head. Michael Parks is his name. And he's telling a story, and he gets shot by Richie, Quentin Tarantino, who's even more crazy. And they have a fight in this little gas station, and he found this woman by this sort of low-tech, almost Superman X-ray eye type thing, that the woman's in the trunk. One thing leads to another, and George Clooney finds out that Tarantino raped and killed her, and he's really cool scene where you just see Tarantino on the side and George Clooney looking, and you just this look on his face, and just like millisecond images of the carnage, and he's just dumbfounded, like, what is wrong with you? Is it me? You think this is what I do? Is it my fault? Is it my fault? It's like very pissed that I don't do this shit. I kill people who basically kill people who fuck with me. Do not rape women. This is not how it's done. So even though George Clooney's character is a bad guy, there's that slimmer of something that makes him better than Tarantino. I think that one thing sort of, even though he is a bad guy, no question about it, it just makes you root for him a little bit more than Tarantino. Sooner or later they hijack and kidnap this motorhome with Harvey Keitel, who's a priest who lost his wife and sort of doesn't believe or hates God. And he has his kids, one of them Juliette Lewis, and the other is Ernest Liu. I know he has like a Precinct 13 t-shirt. They get across the border into Mexico, into the Titty Twister bar. And there you have Fred Williamson, you got Tom Savini, that Sex Machine, who has like the crotch gun. The gun that, it's like, here's his crotch. This little gun pulls out of the flap, and it has a whip. and we're introduced to Selma Hayek's Santanico Pandemonium, and Danny Trejo is the bartender. Long story short, they become vampires and they find out how to survive the night. One more can I say about this movie? I love this movie. It's hard to, if I had to pick my favorite vampire film of all time, it would probably be this one. Because I love Fright Night. Like, Fright Night's on par sort of with this film, but I give it the edge to this one because I love Fright Night, but this just, I have more fun with it. It's more my kind of movie. I think that's the thing with the critics. A lot of critics, they like the first act, where it's just straight out sort of action, drama, you know, going with these criminals, hijacking them. They say that's where the dollar was great, and then when it becomes the action horror film, then they lost interest. And I kind of feel the opposite. Not even the opposite, because I like the first act, but I love the second act even more. But let's go with the two acts. The first act I like because you build up the characters, great cast, everybody does their jobs well. Although that kid, Ernest Liu, he's like, it's like they knew he was the forgettable character, because he just, no one ever talks about him, no one ever mentions about him. It's like no one even cares about him. And it's weird, like Harvey Keitel, Julianne Moore, and then Ernest Liu. And even George Clooney goes, you know, what was the line of dialogue? Why does he look Japanese? He's not, he's Chinese. Or, I don't know the point of dialogue, but even George Clooney comments on it. Like, wait a minute, you guys, I think he mentions, what, a couple of fags? That's the thing, it's very un-PC dialogue. I'm going all over the place because I just remember so many sequences from the beginning, when they're talking with the guy who swears that he didn't tell the sheriff anything, and Richie sort of daydreams and almost makes shit up. And you have the shootout in the gas station, and Robert Rodriguez knows how to use the camera, makes interesting, exciting action scenes. You know, Richie gets shot in the head, and everybody be cool, you be cool. And Clooney says, in my opinion, this is George Clooney's best performance. I mean, this is my favorite performance. You know, I know he does a lot of dramas now and stuff like that, like Up in the Air and Syriana, but I like this. I bought him as a badass. I bought him as a guy who doesn't fuck around. But he also had a great dialogue and funny lines. You know, "Are you motherfucking servant of God?" You know, talking to Harvey Keitel. Me motherfucking servant. A lot of great dialogue. I wish I could just. I'm sort of bad at just thinking of dialogue off the top of my head unless I've seen it enough times, like Predator. But even then, I mean, that sliver of thing with George Clooney, and you have Cheech Marin in the film playing 3 different roles. You have him as the border patrol guy. He's a vampire who gets the shit kicked out of him, then and the front door. He's a pussy lover. We are wet pussy, dry pussy, chicken pussy, horse pussy. You know, just all the pussies in the world that they have in the bar. You can't find what you're looking for? Fuck it. And then later on, is when he picks up George Clooney's probably my favorite piece of dialogue where, what, were they psychos? And Clooney goes, do they look like psychos? Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are. I think Tarantino wrote a great script, a lot of funny dialogue, and in the first part you really get to know the characters, and in the second half it's just an all-out bloodbath of action and gore and great makeup effects, and from the likes of K&B, but you still have the humor, the great action scenes, and you know the characters really know what they're doing. You know, Tom Savini's a badass, you know, with the whip and, you know, using the pool cue and killing Danny Trejo's character. What was it? Fred Williamson, boom, punches the guy's heart out, like pulls the guy's heart out, and gets a pencil. I think actually Tom Savini just the pencil. And just so many great scenes. You know, you have Floyd Williamson's dialogue about Vietnam, and they sort of cut away, and Tom Savini's been bitten, and he's changing, he's trying to hide it. Come on, sex machine! After he got bit, you fucking bit me! And Tom Savini's like, what are you gonna do about it? Come on, sex machine! And throws his ass, unfortunately, out the door, which has all the bats in. And Floyd Williamson's, it's in the shot, it's like he's the king of the fucking bats. He's like, go, get down, my children. It's like, who the fuck are you? You just turned into a vampire 5 seconds ago. But then Harvey Keitel's been bit, and they have The Last Stand. And, you know, they have, George Clooney has like the jackhammer and put a stake in it. All the bullets are being put crosses. Water balloons are doused with holy water.